So we got Brad Long here, Nick Temple joining us. Throw on those headphones here. You guys can share the mic.
Sure.
We are live on LinkedIn.
That's scary.
So don't be scared. Don't be scared. They're there. So say hi. Good morning. All right. Don't be scared. They can't bite through the camera. So good morning to you guys. How you doing?
Great.
Great.
Doing good, thanks.
Doing good. Oh, Brad's doing great, but Nick's only good. What happened? What happened last night? Okay, so you guys are from Yale, right? But I'll let you say it. The new name. Give it to us.
Yale Lift Truck Technologies. Really
Ooh,
excited about
okay, and the change from Yale Material Handling, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
All right. So definitely welcome to the booth here and the show. And I think we want to talk about this new name. Tell us what's behind the new name and why the change.
Well, we've been focused a lot on advancing our message in the warehouse space for quite a while because we feel like we've got an advantage that we haven't been able to communicate.
Okay.
I think as effectively as we wanted to.
Yeah.
And we have the products, solutions now that we think can mature in these or take these high density applications and we can provide them some real value. But it's time to let people know about that a little bit more actively.
Yeah.
So we felt like this was a perfect time to address this identity with something that was going to be new, fresh, and engaging and interesting. I'm really excited about what we're doing with this, and it's just all about positioning our message of what we're focused on, which is the listening and responding to those customer demands.
Yeah.
Focusing on how we can take those challenges and implement them into the truck directly. And then the technology integration in and around the truck is so vitally important in today's warehouse too.
Yeah.
And so making sure that we're constantly staying on the cutting edge of what those customers need in those applications. I don't think there's anything that's more evident of that too than what we're doing with OAS and Yale Reliant.
Right.
And I think that's just a really great example of the types of technologies that we're trying to do that have application today and now for today's operators.
Yeah, I think that makes so much sense because the Yale Lift Truck Technologies and even looking at the booth and stuff, it's like coming into the future almost. Right?
Absolutely.
And I think it's a great thing because you guys are surrounding these machines, and we were at the booth on Monday. I think I'm losing track of time. This week is so crazy, but we were over there and getting kind of the tour and seeing everything from Jim Hess over at that team. So, just seeing the amount of technology that's on the trucks. I mean, it's much more than just something that picks up a pallet and moves it. So the name brand, the change, I think is such a smart move because you really are like bringing all this technology around the truck. So tell us a little bit about kind of what the new technologies are that you guys are talking about, and you just mentioned two of them. So tell us a little bit about that and what do they do? What do they mean?
I'll let Nick, the expert on that, give us a little bit more insight on some of that.
All right, let's hear it, Nick.
Sure. So today, over this week, we've really been focused on our operator assist technology. So it's an example of a customer-driven innovation from our engineering folks. They've done a really good job of working with some customers in the warehouse industry, large e-commerce players.
Right.
And ultimately, what we've evaluated is where do they have needs within their facility, and safety is of the utmost importance,
huge,
of course, for any warehouse operator. But it also you can't sacrifice productivity. So we've designed a solution called Yale Reliant, and that solution. The other big challenge that a lot of these customers face too are labor shortages.
Right.
Even with seasonality, labor was an issue. Inexperienced operators coming in at different parts of the year, and how do you make sure that you maintain safety? Because when you have inexperienced operators, and on forklifts, they don't mix.
Right.
So ultimately, it's this Yale Reliant solution kind of helps overcome all those different challenges. So we've embedded a couple of different sensors that allow us to ultimately understand different status from the vehicle. So we can actually have some sensors that detect obstacles. We have some sensors that detect pedestrians that are using powered industrial badges. We have some sensors that actually give us location of the truck, and we combine all those detection technologies together to actually understand the kinematics as well of the vehicle, and we create performance slowdowns or performance reductions in the truck. So we either limit the speed to allow You know, if you have your forks raised
Right.
to help prevent tip overs, if you have your forks tilted,
Mhm.
you know, so you don't accidentally throw a load. And ultimately the speed's reduced to allow an operator to not even get to a speed where that could potentially occur.
Mm.
So it's kind of the next generation. We've seen this technology continue to evolve.
Right.
OES, or operator assist solutions, originally started off as a blue light, you know, a blue
Mm.
light to alert an operator within a warehouse that you know, of their presence.
Right.
It's moved on to buzzers and things that now alert the operator to obstacles within their field, maybe outside their field of view.
Mhm.
But if everything's blinking and buzzing and honking at you all the time,
Yeah. You get a little numb.
exactly. And so this operator assist solution, we've done a lot of research. We've got 2,500 trucks or so now in the field, and what we've seen is a 10% reduction in slowdown creates an alert and an awareness for the operator to then take control of the vehicle.
Right.
So if they're down, they happen to look down at their phone. And you know, responding to a text message, they'll get that jolt, you know, to make them look up, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and I think it's such a great thing because we talk about safety a lot on the podcast, and it's so important in the environment. And I think sometimes, we underestimate the power or the that a forklift has, right, and the weight behind it too, right. So being able to help those operators, understand, like you said, when they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, and give them a little wake up, or even help them. Maybe there's visibility with the issue with the load they have, and I saw the demo the other day over there. It's as it senses like a pedestrian or something, it slows the speed down. So I think it's really smart, and it's a great thing. I mean, especially as we look at where we are from a labor perspective, right? We're having a hard time getting labor into warehousing situations, right? And we're having a hard time retaining labor as well. And a lot of times, I think we need forklift operators, and we're bringing people in that maybe are not as experienced as we necessarily would want them to be. So being able to give them those tools to help them as they're, gaining that experience, and giving them a chance to feel more comfortable because they have this type of technology that can assist them when maybe a rookie mistake could potentially happen, right, is a huge thing. And I saw also Jim had showed me on the trucks that there's the different profile levels too for the employees, which I think is an awesome thing. So tell us a little bit about that for people that aren't familiar.
Yeah. So what the operator assist technology, right? You have the alarms, but then we also have a telemetry package, and so ultimately the telemetry provides access based on badge. So you digitized your OSHA checklist before any operator gets on the truck. But what we can also do is look at things like impact. And so if there is a potential impact on the vehicle, you can go back and who's made that impact, so then you can correct that behavior in the future. We see reliant being the next step, right, where you prevent that from even occurring in the first place. And then we also find that this technology kind of is hitting kind of the middle of the road with the market. Everyone seems to like the idea of complete automation and robotics, and we offer that as well. We have over 600 trucks in the field that are fully automated, but ultimately a lot of customers still struggle with the ROI when it comes to robotics. So I think there's a lot of robotics in this event right now
everywhere,
and I think our Reliant technology is kind of it's a semi-autonomous type of solution, really, and I find that it's much more easier to understand and to apply today. And so we're really excited to continue that path and go down that journey with our customers. We're taking them through like 30-minute sessions right now, and like as you mentioned, you went through. I'd love to understand your thoughts on how that demonstration went. And
well, first I'll give a shout out to Jim. I said Jim is fantastic over there, right? And we did take some video of that, so we will be sharing that after the show so people can see. But I mean, going through the demonstration, I mean, it's so apparent the thought process that went into how do we make the operator more comfortable, right? And I think that's such an important thing. Like we kind of talked about earlier was the labor issue. One thing is a shortage of labor, but then the second thing is the retention of labor that you currently have, right? So when you look at the retention of retaining, a key asset, which is a forklift operator, right? It's it's very important to make sure that they have that comfort level. So you're giving them a machine that, they feel comfortable with, that, obviously works and is maintained. That's a note for everybody out there that doesn't maintain their forklifts. But but you guys, I mean, are taking so many things into consideration from like the ergonomic standpoint, from the floor that's, like bouncy, like it has that shock absorption in it, which, helps you with the sore feet, sore legs all day. Taking away the pedal and turning it into a sensor, that, you don't have to be on the pedal all day long. Gives you the chance to move around in the compartment more, lifting the armrest, all those different types of things. I mean, it's such a great thing to see that the thought is going into that, and you can tell that from what you're doing. Like, you're listening to not only the customer, who, typically the person, writing the check is not the one driving the forklift, right? But listening to the operators themselves, who are actually, operating those forklifts and doing that. I mean, it's such an important thing. So I mean, it's really great to see all those things kind of coming together. And, in the grand scheme of things, they may seem like little things, but they go such a long way.
Well, you bring up a really good point, and I think strategically, that's exactly what we're trying to do with the
Right.
brand. It's about understanding every aspect of the operation
Mhm.
more holistically, and making sure that we're responding to that, because we're not inhibited
Right.
by vertical integration. We're free to source the world over for the best manufacturers, the best parts, and we can work with integrating that technology and taking the burden of maturing a technology off
Yeah.
of the customer, so they have something that they know they can trust. I mean, it's Reliant for a reason. You can rely
Yeah.
on it. It's something you can trust and believe in. So that's really where we feel like our onus is as an organization, is to provide a proven solution to our customers that they really need, that has application, as Nick was saying, today.
Mhm.
And the global labor shortage is only going to get worse. I
Right.
mean, for every million square footage of warehouse space you add, you got 80 to 100 trucks, and those are going to need operators.
Yeah.
And so as we continue to expand warehouses, the faster near-term solution, while robotics is certainly a way that we all want to move towards, as Nick was saying, it's
Right.
the now option is making sure that those operators who are hyper inexperienced
Yeah.
and are intimidated by this facility have technology and tools that allow them to continue to maintain productivity, and operations continue to move as they
Right.
need to. So I think that speaks exactly to the strategy and approach that we're trying to do with the new brand and identity as well too.
Yeah, I think it makes total sense, and I love the new brand. I think it's great naming, and I think it makes total sense in line with what you guys are doing. So really great stuff. Brad and Nick, thanks for joining me here in the booth. If people want to learn more about Yale, they're at the show. What booth are you guys in?
We're at S1003 and S1212. So
Yeah,
the demo is at 1212. That's our second booth, Reliant booth, and then the open booth is right at the front. So come and see us.
Yeah, definitely. And you can't miss it if you go into the South Building. I'll say it's like right there.
That's right.
So, all right. So Brad and Nick, thank you so much for joining me this morning on the live stream. Have a good rest of the show.